So it's been 13 weeks, 91 days, 2,184 hours, 131,040 minutes since I drove my Chevelle. Yeah, I promise you guys this is going to be a rant-filled video. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Gary. This is the Gear Channel. I'm ranting today. There's lots of weird stuff going on in the world, and I thought I'd get on here. Everybody's ranting. There's all kinds of weird stuff happening. Trump's back in office. He's doing good things. He's getting to work. He's threatening big tariffs on Canada. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but everybody notice Bear Jackson. Bear Jackson's all week long in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they're got all kinds of neat feature cars there this week. The '73 Corvette twin mill is there, as well as the '66 Batmobile. It's version number 3. It was actually built by Bears from the original mold, and it appeared on the TV show as well. So that's there, as well as a whole host of movie and TV cars. Really cool. I noticed there's some local guys that are actually taking photos, and so that's cool. We'll be able to talk to them when they get back and get their perspective on how the whole auction went. I noticed that prices are up slightly, uh, not a whole lot, and based on Haggerty's numbers, they are up, but not quite to the 2022 record level. So that's where we're at with that, based on Bear Jackson and the Mecum auctions. Uh, One thing I wanted to mention was the Draggins 63rd annual Ron Custom Car Show is on this Easter weekend, April 18th to 19th, Prairieland Park, also known as the World Trade Center. So that's something to look forward to in the coming months. Really easy online registration, and it is now open. You just fill out the deal on online on your computer at draggins.com, and you can enter your picture of your car. They want pictures, of course, and it's $50 for a participant. $20 for general admission, and 6 to 15 is $10 for youth. So yeah, that's 18th to 19th, Easter weekend, Friday and Saturday in Saskatoon, Prairieland Park. Don't miss that one. It's going to be a good deal. I've got my car in there with the Shifters Car Club this year, so I'm looking forward to being a part of that. And very soon we're going to actually have some teaser videos coming up of vehicles that you'll be able to see in the Draggins Car Show very soon, actually as soon as maybe this weekend. So getting back to this whole fuel thing. So first off, I wanted to mention that Shell V-Power, as of a couple months ago, is now 10% containing at least 10%, up to 10% of alcohol, I should say, or ethanol. None that's too bad. I was really hoping we were going to get by that thing. 2 years ago, the province announced this was coming, and I did a couple of videos on this, and we were just looking for something that would help us combat the ethanol. And the reason for that is ethanol is hygroscopic, it draws moisture out of the air, and on your daily driver, it's not going to be as much of an issue. But if you store a vehicle for the winter, like we do with our classic cars, or if you have a small engine, a lawnmower, weed whacker, a boat, a motorcycle, that sort of thing, you have to be mindful, and you can't just some stabilizers won't work. I actually proved that in a test I did online, and you can do that yourself. But I did find one chemical. It was called BG Chemicals Fuel System Dryer. Now they recommend a full bottle in a tank of gas. I think it works out to 17, 18 bucks. We're going to try and split that. I was going to experiment with that. I'm going to have to do that this summer, see how it works. But certainly that is one product that does work, and I'll have more updates on how we deal with this ethanol issue in our classic cars and storage and that sort of thing. Anyway, while we're talking about oil and gasoline, uh, so I come across some articles, interesting articles, and it goes back the history of oil and how it was named. Why is it called fossil fuels? And now there's two stories to this, and usually I find that somewhere in the middle lies the truth. So I do believe there's some truth to this, and there's some fiction. Now, back in the day, way back 1800s, a fellow by the name of Rockefeller, he had created his own refinery. He approached some scientists and asked them to actually label uh, this as fossil fuels, and that way they could give the impression to the general public that there wasn't an abundance of this. It was a limited supply, and they could set a price for the world stage. Now, this is the theory. Now, I believe there is possibly some truth to this. I don't know why they named it fossil fuel. That would be why, but the thing that is confusing is oil is extracted at a different depth than we find fossils and organic plant matter and dinosaur bones and that sort of thing. So there's possibly some actual truth to that whole deal. So they say that in Canada here, for example, if we were to drill oil for ourselves and not export it at all, there would be enough for us for 188 years, based on our annual usage. And they say overall, uh, if we keep continuing the way we are going, we're going to have enough oil for about 56 years. That's one side of the story. On the other side, they say that it replenishes itself, and we would never ever run out. Now, I don't know about that. I think there's probably some fiction with that. I do know that they claim that oil is carbon based, and that's where you get it from, is from plants and animals and bones and things like that. But also, you do get it in lava, and the earth does generate its own lava. It doesn't generate 20 billion barrels a day as the United States actually uses in one day of oil. So it wouldn't keep up to demand, but it does replenish itself to a certain degree. And I do believe there's some truth to uh, either side of this story. So, anyways, very interesting. Saudi Arabia. We're number three on the list, Canada, and we export about 98% of all our fuel, of all our oil. Uh, and Saudi Arabia, if they were to not stop exporting their oil, it would last them probably 200 plus years. So there's a lot of oil out there. There's two abundant fluids on the earth. Number one is water. Everybody knows that. It covers the planet. Number two is oil. There's a lot of it. And it's going to last us a long time. I'd be 117 years old. And I don't think they want us driving at 117 years old. So it's not something I really need to worry about. But kind of an interesting deal. Yeah, it's not something that's going to run. And there's other vehicles. There's other forms of fuel out there. There's biodiesel and hydrogen and electric vehicles, of course. We're going to be able to get around for a long time. But 56 years, I'm okay with that. I'm probably not going to be here to worry about it. So anyway. Getting back to this whole vehicle prices and costs and Barrett Jackson, and if you've watched stuff, like I mentioned, things are up a little bit. A little concerned about the whole, it's getting tougher and tougher for young people. Just even the cost of living to buy a home. Now, how are you going to restore a car in today's market and the way things are going? It seems that vehicles today, even to buy a wreck, you're not going to get much for $10,000 now, and it's going to require a lot of work, and you have to be the guy that can do just about everything. And I know there's few people out there that can, and that's great. But young folks trying to get into the hobby, it's very difficult. But I certainly encourage anybody that's thinking of, if you want to buy an old car, get into the classic car hobby. It's very rewarding, therapeutic, in fact, and I recommend it for everybody. It's just it is becoming harder and extremely expensive, and I'm hoping we can still get by this somehow and continue. Because if the young folks lose interest in this, whether it's financial reasons or whatever, uh, this hobby will die. It won't continue on. Not without them. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to touch on some neat stuff. Uh, I don't think with us exporting 98% of our oil to the States. Is Trump going to label big tariffs on us? And I think this is just a, uh, negotiation tactic, if you will. He's a businessman, and he's all about, the scare tactics and insults and things like that, making us the 51st state. And that's just how it goes. That's how he operates, and he's pretty good at what he does. So I'm really hoping that we can work together and continue to be friendly neighbors with the United States, as we always have been. So anyway, yeah, a little bit of rant stuff, a little bit of fuel stuff, oil stuff. Yeah, I think I touched base with you guys. Like I said, we got some Dragons Car Show stuff coming up very soon, maybe even as early as next week. We can do some teaser videos and share that with you. Uh, anyway, thanks for watching the rant. If you stuck around, appreciate you. See you next time.